Have you been cursed? Well, we all go through periods of bad luck, of bad decisions, and things are just very, very tough for us. And in those times, it can be quite easy to turn to the paranormal, to believe that you've been cursed. And that's often not the case. It is just life. But there certainly are cases where you have been cursed, or people have been cursed. And this really can come down to if someone has the will, if someone has the anger, the desire. They could even be cursing you without knowing that they're actually doing it. They just have such bad intent towards you. Now, I like to think of it almost as a virus, like the cold or flu. Now, if you have a really strong immune system, if you're in really good health and you're looking after yourself, it can be quite hard for something like that to do any kind of damage. You might get ill for a day or two, but then you're back to normal. But if you're not looking after yourself, if you're not sleeping, if you're under enormous stress, if you have a bad diet, you're not exercising, you've maybe put some weight on, that's when this bacteria, this virus that basically surrounds us at all times, can almost get through and do more damage than it usually would. And that's kind of how I look at curses, where if you're not in a particularly good place, they can do a lot more damage. So the big question, are you actually cursed, or is it just life? Well, here's a fun way that you can determine if there is something to actually look at. Now, you will need a deck of tarot cards, and you basically remove all of the major arcana cards. You just want the minor arcana cards left. And you shuffle them while thinking of the intent, which is basically, am I cursed? And then what you want to do is put the cards face down and start taking the cards out one at a time until you reach 10 cards. Or until an ace comes up. Now, once you reach an ace, that's when you stop and make a second pile and then a third pile. And that's... Okay, no, I'm not cursed. Good. Now, if you go through all three piles or stacks, and you've gone through it all the way through, and you've got 30 cards there, and no aces have come up, that's perfect. Nothing to look at. If one ace has come up, again, probably not much to look at. Two, you probably want to do some cleansing, some protection just in case. And if you get 3 aces, that's a sign that something has been sent your way or something is attached to you. Now, another way to test, and this one gives you a little bit more insight, is to get a fresh egg, or as fresh as absolutely possible. And you do preferably want to do this naked, and you want to effectively rub the egg all over your body, from head to toe. And then you want to crack the egg into a bowl of fresh water. Now, once you do that, I would advise putting something metal, preferably iron, on top of the bowl, just to make sure that if there is any negative energy in there, then it's sealed and isn't going to come out. And what you're going to look for is how the yolk falls in this bowl of water. Now, if there is a bad smell when you crack the egg, that would often indicate illness of some kind. If there is any blood showing up in the yolk, which does sometimes happen with eggs, that would indicate that some negative energy has definitely been sent to you. If the yolk falls particularly fast to the bottom, that would indicate that there's a lot of stagnant energy around you, and some kind of cleansing or protection would help you in that case. And if there's a lot of white pieces attached to the yolk, which is quite rare, but it does happen, that would be showing that there is some kind of attachment to you, some kind of spiritual attachment that you probably want to get rid of. And once you've done this, I would advise to pour this mixture of water and the egg into the toilet and just flush it away. So what to do if it is showing that you probably have a curse or definitely have some kind of negative energy sent towards you? Well, I think you've got 4 different options here. So they would be reversing, and I don't think that you particularly need to know who has done this. Breaking, and that would often be fulfilling what the caster wants you to fulfill. Removal, which would be some kind of cleansing and protection. Or trapping - sending to someone else. So that would involve something like a witch bottle or a poppet to put this energy into and dispose of. And if you did want to try and find out more details, if your inquisitive mind gets the better of you, you can always do something like divination to try and expose and bring more details of what has actually happened. I wouldn't advise doing that. I would advise just dealing with it and letting go. So, reversing. So what you will need for this is a mirror, preferably something quite small, like a handheld mirror, some black salt, and a bowl. If you have something personal of this person that has done this to you, that is great. If not, you can just write their name down on paper. And if you don't have their name, that's fine. You can just write something like "my enemies" on a piece of paper and put that into the bowl as well. And what you want to do, it's very simple, is to either put the item of this person or their name or just the piece of paper with "my enemies" written on it. Put that into the bowl, completely cover it in black salt, and then put the mirror at the side of the bowl so it's facing away from you as well. You don't want this facing towards you. And basically what you're doing there is just returning to sender. You're pushing this curse back towards them. Now, I would advise to leave this for a couple of days. It's best to perform this on Saturday under the energy of Saturn. But if that's not possible, any day is fine, but it does work stronger on Saturdays. And once, after a couple of days, this is complete and you can feel the energy has changed, I would say to bury all of these items. You can just put them all together into a cloth and wrap them up and just bury them. If you can do it at a crossroads, that's perfect, but I'm sure that might be quite difficult for a lot of people, so just do it somewhere discreet. Removal. Now again, preferably do this naked. There is a theme here, but this is not related to any of my sex magic videos. Just often works better when you don't have clothes obscuring things. And all that you'll need for this one is a lemon and salt. And you basically cut the lemon in half and quite a lot of salt, just completely cover the lemon in salt. And you want to, I would say with both hands, just move it around your body. Do not touch the skin with this. Be very careful of not doing that. But just sort of move it around the body. Almost like Alan Partridge when he's using 2 soaps, if you know what I mean. Once you've done that, hopefully you've got an altar set up or something that you use as an altar, and just put the 2 halves of the lemon on there and just leave them. Now, if they dry out, that's a really good sign. That means that this has been dealt with. If they kind of rot and go mouldy, you need to repeat this. And again, once you've now got success, however many times it may take, hopefully the first time, you want to dispose of these. So again, if you could bury them somewhere outside, potentially deep if possible. You don't want the animals particularly digging them up and eating them, because it would then pass that energy on to them. Now you can also have a salt bath. Salt baths are really, really good, and I always feel really invigorated and protected afterwards. I would add the element of rue. If you are pregnant, do not use rue. It's not suitable for ladies that are pregnant. But if not, please go ahead, mix some rue and some kind of good quality salt into the bath and just lay in there. And you can also almost envision yourself being covered with golden light and just flooded with this protection energy of the bath that you're taking. Now, if you have been unfortunate enough to discover a cursed item left on your property, it does happen. People are very strange, but they do it. Particularly if they've left something on your doorstep or, to give you the sign you have been cursed, then there's quite an easy way to deal with this. Do not touch it. Get some kind of tongs or something where you can pick it up, put it in a cloth and wrap it up. Urinate on it, wait for it to dry, and then take this item, if possible, to a crossroads and burn it. If not, take it somewhere isolated and burn it, and just leave it there to burn. Now, safety notice, just in case anyone gets a bit carried away, you're burning something. Don't do it in a place where it can spread and, cause a large fire or cause some damage. Be mindful of what you're doing, but you do want to burn this item. Now, another way to deal with curses, and I would advise buying. You can make your own, but it is quite a complicated process. So if you're not a well-stocked kitchen witch, this could be a bit difficult. So I would advise just getting on Etsy, and you'll want to buy uncrossing and protection oils. And you'll also need 4 different candles as well, 4 black candles for this. And you want to anoint 3 of the candles with the protection oil and the 4th candle with the uncrossing oil. And again, if you can do this outside, that's amazing. That's sort of the perfect scenario. But if not, just do it somewhere safely in your home. And you want to set the 3 protection candles up into a triangle. You're going to sit in the middle and basically meditate on what has been happening to you, the bad things that have happened as a result of this curse, and also how you want to have this removed from your life. You want the protection for this to not get through anymore. Now, once you start to feel that energy change, you snap the uncrossing candle in half. So you have basically now 2 smaller candles. And then you want to light these candles within this triangle, and you allow them to burn down. So I would advise using smaller candles so you're not sat there for hours. But once they've all burnt down, and a familiar theme here, collect up all the wax that's left. You can wrap it up in some kind of cloth if you want to, or you can, I often use brown paper and just fold it away from you and bury it. Bury it somewhere discreet. But again, as often with this kind of removal of curse work, you want to bury this so it won't be found. So I hope that's helpful. In my opinion, a lot of curses are basically your state of mind. And what often happens with people is just the threat or thought of being cursed can send them into a panic, and then they start seeing signs of it everywhere, and something happens that is bad luck, but it's a sign of the curse, and then it just expands and it expands, and it can become really, really destructive for someone. So the less energy that you give to something like this, the less effect it can have on you. And I would advise just having a good program of cleansing and protection. And another aspect is as well, and this is almost like exercising. If you do the same exercise every single day, your body kind of gets bored of it, basically. It stops reacting in the way that you want it to. And I think that a lot of ritual work is very similar to that. So kind of switch it up or make additions or do it at different times. Just do it differently to make it work stronger and stronger. Anyway, that's all I've got. So thank you for watching, and like, subscribe if you want to. You can even downvote if you want to. It's up to you. We all have freedom. Do what you want. Bye.